just went, let me see if this works.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Good evening and welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynard and we are tracking a calm evening across North Mississippi. But Matt, we had a little bit of an active weekend. Can we call it active? I mean, we had a few showers, but things are definitely calmer now.
Well, they are calmer now, and that's also including the fact that we had kind of a chilly weekend as well. And, you know, that did, of course, impact us early this morning where we had those frost and freeze conditions. I can thankfully say that we are not repeating that as far as tonight is concerned. So an improvement there, I think maybe a welcome one. But our average first freeze for this time of year ends up being somewhere in the neighborhood of not Thanksgiving. I do this every year. Halloween. So no shock there that, of course, we had some spots go to that threshold overnight. So drier conditions, I think, will stick around as we keep conditions mostly clear much of this week. But we are tracking rain chances later this week. Between now and then, it is warmer. You know, the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of hovering a little bit below our 30-year average. We're back in the 70s, in fact, the mid-70s. So could have a few spots where we're almost 10 degrees above our 30-year normal for this time of the year. And our meteorologist, Gabe Maynard, looking at that month in review back toward what October was, which of course included finally some rainfall, making a little bit of a difference there on some of the drought conditions. But 50, that temperature at 7 p.m. tonight will be 45 by 10, 43 by 1 o'clock in the morning, and then low 40s by early tomorrow morning. These lines that you see here, a little bit of mistiness, you could argue some patchy fog for early tomorrow morning. We had that this morning, but I think it's going to be a little bit spottier for the first part of your early morning on your Tuesday there. Plenty of great, completely visible skies outside right now in Smithville, though, as we show traffic moving smoothly and a beautiful evening for folks there in Monroe County. Thank you so much again, Monroe County, for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. I was working behind the scenes between the 5 and 6 o'clock show. We're now up to about 130,000 downloads of our mobile apps. That, of course, be the ones for the smartphones and tablets. And almost 13,000 again for all the folks on Roku. So if you're watching us on the app or you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, we do have a Roku app. So you can put it on that big screen if it's something that you so choose to do. Certainly we have it here at the Lawpon household. It's probably the easiest way to watch us outside, of course, that mobile app there. 54 temperature right now in Winona. That moon at the top of the screen there, way up there high in the sky, and a beautiful clear evening there. No wind, thankfully, making it not enhancing the way in which it feels out there. Nothing but clear conditions here on Mississippi Live Weather Radar across the region. We are dry and clear, and as you might imagine, high pressure is the story, as it often is the case in this scenario. You know, if I put this in a longer loop here, I'm going to look back at some of the satellite perspective from earlier today. I'm going to actually bring it back in here for a moment and look at our satellite zoom, and I'm going to change this back to a 12-hour loop. The reason for that, I want to look back earlier today at some of the fog and low cloud cover that we did have out there early this morning. You can see it was a little thicker back for locations out into Arkansas, more just really patchy stuff around here. And certainly as we've gone through the day, that largely eroded away pretty quickly. Expect the same story with what we have tomorrow, because though this high pressure keeps us mostly dry and mostly clear, we're probably going to have, again, where we had more meaningful rainfall, and again, in the valleys and some of the spaces that tend to collect that cooler air and more moist air, we're going to have, I think, probably some pretty good likelihood that we're going to end up having some patchy fog for early tomorrow morning. We do show some cloud cover and our next storm system back to the north and west up there toward Boise, Idaho. Gabe will talk a lot more about this in a minute. Eventually, we could have some rain and storm chances. It's going to take a little bit of extra kick out there from a little farther to the west. And that, I think, we're looking at possibly having some impacts for some of your Friday night football games. As we bring things in just a little bit closer here across the state of Mississippi, you'll notice Futurecast as we go into tonight, keeping it dry and clear. High pressure, calm winds, clear skies, and you can almost always go with cool temperatures. So while we will not be as frosty, and we're not expecting many of us to reach the freezing point, or really any of us, I think, for tonight, we're still probably back into the low 40s and upper 30s for morning lows tomorrow morning. And our meteorologist Gabe Maynor will look city by city at that here in a minute. But you'll also notice some patches of fog. We show a few out there toward Monroe, Louisiana, and notice how it shows some south of Tupelo back toward Aberdeen and West Point. The Blackland Prairie section there kind of runs right where I'm kind of showing that mouse. And again, that's one of those lower areas where moisture tends to collect. So our meteorologist Maggie McCauley likely looking at some fog issues for a few locations early tomorrow morning on what will be a cool but not quite as cold morning versus what we had for today, and keeping it dry and mostly clear as we progress throughout your day on your Tuesday. So looking at the next 24 hours, again, fog should be short-lived if we see it. 40 that morning low. Those winds out of the south, that begins that warming trend. 70 is above our 30-year average for this time of year, and we go quite a bit above that beyond tomorrow, as we'll be, again, mostly cleared, almost completely sunny skies, as we've really scooped a lot of the moisture out of here with this most recent front. Some of that will eventually start to return. And the timing as to, the last moment when that's going to return is one of the factors that makes us question how Friday develops. Friday is our next rain chance of significance, and it could include perhaps some stronger thunderstorms. But confidence is not high at this point because moistures are arriving kind of at the last second. But unfortunately, the timing could be when some of those Friday night football games are returning. We're looking in more detail at that extended forecast here from the Room to Room Weather Center as Mississippi Live Weather at 6 continues right after this.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Low 60s at 5, now mid 50s at 6. Time change doing its wonders, showing how those cooler temperatures enter the picture even sooner than what they were before. We're going to keep Mississippi Live Weather at 6 going. First talking about these temperatures, but also talking about those foggy conditions. Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon touching on this, but another big driver in that forecast, that 0-mile-an-hour wind. Basically those calm conditions across North Mississippi, allowing for that moisture to remain in place. Usually those winds dry things up. When that's not a case, and when you don't have the sunshine, then of course some fog is possible. So Mississippi Live Weather Radar, nothing in the sky right now. As you can see, we're currently in clear air mode, meaning no rainfall or anything of that matter to be tracking, just a few bugs as that sun's setting, but overall we are in a very dry state of mind. As you look at water vapor across the region, look at our scale right here. We're looking at drier air with some of those oranges popping up, no humid air whatsoever. So how do you know we're more in that cold season? Well, this is a big indicator as to why, but more moisture moving into the forecast up there around Denver. And if we push things back even more, you can see well off the Pacific coast, going to be moving into the picture right there on the northwest side of the United States. That's going to be our driver heading into Friday, and that's going to be our next rain chances moving forward. So Futurecast right now, as you can see, a large part of that forecast being driven by high pressure. We're in this ridging pattern as we speak, and you can get kind of an idea of that. As you can see, this flow right here, keeping a lot of that moisture well north of us here in North Mississippi. But as we bring it back closer to home, you can definitely see that we are going to keep with those same conditions overnight. I mean, if you wanted dry air, this was definitely the forecast for you, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. 10 p.m. still with those same conditions, high pressure remaining right over the top of us, and we won't see very much movement with this. So what this means is it's a very consistent pattern moving forward, and that remains the case as we get into the midweek portion of our work week, and even for some portions of the latter part of our work week. So 3:30, 4, 5 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Let's bring it back to our home view. Let's check out a little bit of that fog. You can see for folks from Tupelo all the way there into Shannon, to Aberdeen, to West Point, towards Macon. This area right here going to be getting some of that dense fog development. And out west there in the Mississippi Delta from Greenville to Cleveland to Shelby, that Highway 61 corridor, that's for folks to get some of that patchy fog as well. But patchy is the key word because a large portion of North Mississippi still remaining with those clear conditions and dry conditions as we get our Tuesday started. Low temperatures, as you can see, a few upper 30s popping up in Red Bay as well as Macon, even down around Kosciuszko and Bruce. But for the rest of us, low 40s in the forecast, which yes, is cold, but much warmer than where things sat at this morning. I mean, talk about this morning. We were in the low 30s for a lot of locations with frost on the windshield. So, hey, anything is better than that, right? Drop off 40 degrees, 64 by lunch and 69 by that last spell. I do want to say with drop off, foggy conditions is something drivers need to be concerned with as regards to some low beams on those headlights. But in regards to frosty conditions on the windshield, I think that's yesterday's forecast. I think that a large portion of us are going to steer clear of those frosty windshields. Don't need to head out early and turn on the car a little bit early. You can get the heat going at least, but as for clearing off those windshields, I think we'll be good to go. Futurecast, as you can see, Tuesday morning, staying with those dry and clear conditions, and this high pressure that's remained over our area will do exactly that for the majority of our Tuesday. I mean, check out how little movement we're talking about whenever it comes to this system. We're going to zoom things out here real quick, and you can see that ridging pattern remains right over the top of us. High pressure there in southern Mississippi as well as eastern Tennessee. Between those two, I mean, no question as to where the dry air is coming from. So noontime, take those lunch plans outside. It won't be breezy, won't be rainy, won't be anything of note in regards to an asterisk that we need to put on the perfect forecast. No, this literally will be a perfect forecast. So get out there and enjoy it. I know Boonville Middle School, shout out my wife, as she got to enjoy a fall festival today. They had to push it back from last week, and it was a great forecast for it. Blue skies galore, folks just enjoying being out and about. So if you're looking to do the same, or if you want a late fall festival, then hey, this will be a good forecast for you as well. Tuesday evening, still with those great conditions. So any of those evening plans we may have heading to the ball fields. I don't know if there's any in session right now, but I know that soccer was going on a couple of weeks ago. This is still a good forecast for it, even if you want to pick up the ball and go hoop on Front Street. High temperatures, 72 degrees in Bruce, 70 in New Albany, and 69 around Holly Springs. We jump down south, low 70s still south of Highway 82, so this is much warmer than where things sat at today. We were in the low to mid 60s across North Mississippi. Those really trending warmer as we get into our forecast for Tuesday. So again, all the more reason to get out there and enjoy it. But look at these winds right here on Tuesday. You can see coming from the south, and that's that transition of the weather pattern as we move forward with that forecast. High pressure, of course, transitioning a little bit more towards the east, and with that clockwise flow that we have with high pressure, a lot of that being brought in from the Gulf, those southerly winds, and that's going to replenish a little bit of that moisture as well as a little bit of that warmer air. That's why temperatures are slightly warmer for Tuesday. That's going to continue to be the case for Wednesday. And you do see that moisture returning just a bit, just around the Jackson area as we head overnight into our Wednesday morning. This, of course, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning before those clouds potentially build along Highway 82 and for folks south by the time we get towards our Wednesday afternoon. But that's not really going to be our forecast. If we expand things out, we can see a cold front inching closer to the region. At most, this cold front is going to transition some of those winds as we expect this to be a dry frontal boundary that pushes more into the region. So yes, cold front shifting some of those winds could bring some drier weather with it, but that's not going to last forever. I'm going to expand things out one more time so you guys can see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is not hard to see. I mean, you can see over there towards Boise, Portland, and Seattle, a rainy forecast out there. And this front, that's miles and miles away. I mean, let's go ahead and measure it out because, hey, we can. All the way from Boise to North Mississippi, over 1,000 miles. We're talking 1,679 miles away from North Mississippi as of Wednesday afternoon. That moving closer to the region and giving us the potential for a few of those storms and potentially even strong storms as forecasts are kind of getting that a little bit better aligned as we move forward. So definitely something to keep note of, but Wednesday's front, not going to be significant whatsoever. At most, shifting those winds, you're getting a little bit of those northerly wind returns right there behind the front due to high pressure entering back into the region. So no, this is not going to be a rainy forecast. It's just going to be a cold front. It's going to drop those temperatures just a bit, very slightly. High temperatures for your Wednesday before that front pushes through. 73 in Tupelo, 72 New Albany, 74 around Houston. We're seeing 76 Aliceville, 68 around Red Bay, and 75 Belzona and Greenville. Let's go ahead and take a look at those frosty conditions that we had this morning. We were talking about freezing temperatures, and Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupin and I were assessing, when does that first freeze happen? And as you can see, happens right around now. October 29th was 2017's first freezing date. November 1st was 2019. November 1st of 2023 was their first freeze. And here and now, we have not fully reached that first freeze yet. Tupelo reporting 33 degrees, so we have not fully reached it, so that first freeze date still going to be later than where things sit right now. So your 7-day forecast, that first freeze not going to be happening Tuesday. You see 40 degrees by 7 a.m. with those foggy conditions, 68 by noon, and we're reaching into the 70s by the afternoon. So don't have to worry about frost, especially during the afternoon. But even the extended outlook, let's go ahead and assess this. Wednesday morning, 43, Thursday, 46. By the weekend, we're into the low to mid 50s, and beyond that, then the potential for a potential first freeze pushes back into the picture by early next week. Definitely going to be looking at those states to figure out if that first freeze will happen around that time. Hey, you know what? Go ahead and put your guesses in the comments. A fun little game we can play is, when do you think the first freeze will happen? But either way, aside from the freezing temperatures, let's go ahead and assess what's going to be happening in the sky. Sunshine all week long up until Friday, and that's where that front that we were tracking just a moment ago moves into the region, gives us those scattered chances of storms with the potential, as of right now, for some of those being on the stronger side. We're primarily talking about some gusty winds, but this is something that we're continuing to assess in more detail as we move forward. But models definitely hinting at the potential for some strong storms, but definitely pretty aligned on those rain chances. Right now we have 30% coverage, could be up just a bit if that potential starts to increase a little bit more. But as of right now, models are definitely showing rainfall for Friday. How folks will assess that with our football forecast, that remains up to the school districts, but might be tracking a few showers around those football time frames. But we will fine tune this over the next several days. As we know here at Mississippi Live Weather, this forecast can, and emphasize will, change as we move over the next several days. So coming up in the next 60, what are we going to be discussing? Well, my favorite time of the month is the first of the month, not because bills are due, but because it is a time to review the month we've just had. And October brought quite the story. We'll look at that in better detail here on the Room to Room Weather Center coming up in the next 60, so stick with us.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We found Tupelo Smiles when our kids outgrew their pediatric dentist, and my husband and I wanted a place where the whole family could be taken care of.
As far as technology goes, there is nobody more advanced than Tupelo Smiles.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Well, welcome back into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We're going to be assessing our month in review, and that month being October. Let's go ahead and get into that with our high temperatures. How they went throughout the season, you can see 90 degrees. Yes, that is what was happening October 1st of 2025. So don't be alarmed by that. No, that is a thing of the past, but still very, I don't know the word for it, intimidating to look back on. 90 degrees in October is just absurd, but luckily temperatures did get better, dropping well into the low 80s by that weekend. We reached into the upper 70s a week after that low 90 day, and then we got back into the mid 80s that following week. Beyond that, Fall really kicked in, and then we saw those temperatures drop into the upper 60s. And there's where we sat as we wrapped up the month with 59 degrees, the high temperatures last Monday, and 56 there for Wednesday. So things were definitely trending in the right direction, but 90 as our high temperature of the month, 56 as the low, or the lowest high temperature, should I say. So definitely a flip of the script there for sure. Let's go ahead and look at low temperatures, and this helps us better assess a little bit of those first freeze. And definitely was on October 29th, as you can see right there, 49 degrees, but the month started out with 63, and those low temperatures got all the way up to 71, but cooled off there into the low 40s. So our highest low temperature for October, 71 degrees. Our lowest low temperature for the month of October was 41, and things are already getting colder from where we were at the end of October. So showing you that late fall trending into, we're far away from winter, I would say late fall forecast definitely happening in full effect, and we're getting into those 30s once again, but no freezing temperature yet, and that's the key. I saw a few people guessing in the comments. I believe it was Jade that said November 15th, first freeze next Wednesday. That is a realistic possibility. I would say Tuesday, Wednesday, our next best bet for that first freeze, but we'll keep eyes on it behind the scenes. Things definitely can shift over the next several days, but let's go ahead. Oh, I forgot to change the title on this one, but this is October's rainfall output, and as you can see right here, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and fix it for folks that could be confused. You can definitely see that on this graphic, we definitely had a lot of rainfall compared to what we had in September and August and July. I don't think it's going to let me change it. Maybe. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and change that title. Yeah, so this was a much more rainy month and definitely made the drought monitor look 10 times better, which we were not complaining about at all. We definitely needed that rainfall. We saw burn bans get issued and lifted throughout the month, and that has definitely helped with some of those burning conditions. I saw some folks out yesterday. We were driving around Highway 348 there in Union County. We were also driving up our back roads there in northwest Lee County, and saw several folks burning, just clearing up some of that debris, and this is still the time for it, especially with how rainy the end of the month was. As you track right there, 3/4 of an inch on the 26th, 1/4 of an inch on the 28th, and then nearly an inch on the 29th. That trend, and don't let me forget about the 25th, at 1/10 of an inch. Those 5 days right there definitely bounced us back from those drought conditions, and the drought monitor still has not used the 28th or the 29th in regards to how things are looking on the drought monitor now, so that will make things look 10 times better, and that drought monitor looked better as a result. Earlier in the month, a very dry start to the month with about 2/10 of an inch on the entirety. So definitely was a time where we were concerned, but things got in the better. Our highest output was 1.5 inches on the 18th, but you can see a lot of days. I believe that's 10 days where there was rainfall, so much better than where things currently track and where things usually track in October. So can't complain about that forecast whatsoever. Your day planner tonight, I know we're talking about a rainy end of the month. Start of November has been on the drier side. 48 degrees by 8, 45 by 10, and 43 by midnight, but no chance of rainfall expected. Fog is going to be the moisture that's in the forecast, and even that's going to be very patchy, so not impacting everybody, but still have those low beams on if you do experience that for your early morning commutes. Well, this will do it for Mississippi Live Weather at 6. If you want to stay informed for any of those Monday evening plans, download the Mississippi Live Weather app today. And as Matt was mentioning at the top of the broadcast, a big thank you to everyone who has been supporting us on this journey. We are officially over 4 months into the project, and this has been such an exciting time with you guys where we can inform you about the weather and also enjoy just everything in North Mississippi. Heading out to those football games, which, speaking of, submit your submission into our submissions tab there on Matt's Facebook page. Go ahead and let us know where you want us to go, and we'll try and be there, weather permitting, of course. But that's one of the ways you guys can stay involved, and we appreciate everything you guys do to keep us informed. Let us know where you want us to go and all the events that you want us to head to. If you have an event in your area, go ahead and let us know. You can let us know a few Christmas parades as well, and we'll try do our best to attend there. So yeah, just an exciting time here at Mississippi Live Weather, and this just opens the door to so many things here in North Mississippi. Our next broadcast happening tonight at 10, and of course you can tune in for the latest on those model runs, which will hopefully trend a little bit better for those Friday's rain chances and trend a little bit worse on those severe weather chances as well. And of course, our morning show readily available. Meteorologist Maggie McCauley will have that warm cup of coffee to track those cold temperatures at 6:30, 7, and 7:30. I do want to bring it back in here real quick. Meteorologist Caleb Edelblue. I need to talk to him for a second. So we had a bet on Sunday. Matt and I, we root for the Kansas City Chiefs. Caleb roots for the Buffalo Bills. And as you can see on my tie right now, who won the bet? It was the Buffalo Bills. Per usual, should have expected it because they always win in the regular season. But we are going to redo this in the playoffs. And when the playoffs go around, the Chiefs usually play the Bills and things usually go the Chiefs' way. Knock on wood, hopefully that continues to be the case, but we're going to run this bet back. And Caleb, I will have a tie ready for you. So buckle up. You're going to be in for a good one. But this is why I'm wearing a Buffalo Bills tie. No, I'm not a Buffalo Bills fan. I want to say that outright. But if you see me wearing it tonight, it's because I lost that bet. So shout out Caleb. It's a fun time on Sunday, and hopefully things trend a little bit better come January. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you back here tonight at 10 for the very latest on what you need to know here in the wild world of weather in Mississippi.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.